Our team captured the area. Enemy ship destroyed. Target hit. We hit the enemy.
Hey everyone, it's DFA, welcome back to the channel, and yes, I had not spoken about the Japanese premiums in my review of the whole Japanese cruiser lines, because typically those are not really superior to their Tech 3 equivalents. Yeah, because when you look at Japanese premium cruisers, what do you have? You have the Azuma and Yoshino, the tier 9 and tier 10 heavy cruisers, essentially heavy cruisers with the armor profile of a destroyer, absolutely unplayable with Italians battleships, and they already were not very good before, so skip these two. At tier 8 you have the Mogami, which is a fun ship, but not really superior to the Takao. The Maya is the Takao that basically lost a turret to gain a bit more AA, absolute garbage. And you get the Tone, which is actually a fun ship. It's also missing one turret, but it's actually quite fun with the torpedo bomber. Still, it's a pretty expensive ship if you ask me. I've reviewed it on the channel, so feel free to take a look at that video, by the way. And so that is why I had to take a look at that thing, the Yahagi Tier 5 Premium Cruiser, because it's actually the best premium cruiser that you can get on the Japanese line. And I think you've already seen in the introduction what makes it absolutely special and a bit overpowered, to be honest. It's not the guns, only 6-15cm guns. It's not the maneuverability, it's not bad, but there is nothing to write home about. Concealment is also kind of okay, but it's the torpedoes. You get the exact same torpedoes as the Tier 8 Premium Destroyer, the Yukikaze. So they've only nerfed the damage, which is, instead of being 3900, it's 3800 or something. Oh, but you can shoot them very easily like that, create a nice wall of torpedoes, and that tier 5, on a tier 5 cruiser, 8 torpedoes dealing almost 4000 damage each, with a range of 8.4 kilometers. Boom, there you go. That's what that thing is, absolutely toxic. Yeah, and so yeah, if you take into consideration the fact that that thing is at tier 5, where a lot of people will not be necessarily thinking about dodging the way of avoiding certain dangerous situations like that Furutaka actually was, well, that's what creates a recipe for disaster with that thing. I have no idea what Wargaming's balance department was thinking when they released that thing, and actually they haven't released it a lot since it was first introduced into the game, but we'll talk a bit about that later. So coming back to the gameplay, we follow the playbook of Japanese cruisers. We focus on torpedoes, the guns are a sideshow, and here for example I'm not coming after that New York, I'm coming after the Bayern. I want to remain around islands because that is where I can actually shoot and surprise opponents, just like I did with the Furutaka. And so I'm ignoring the bot New York, I want to take out that Bayern, and with the torpedo firepower that you have, so you can delete any single tier 4 and tier 5 battleship in one salvo. Tier 6 it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but as you just saw, you will be facing players, yeah, that will not always make the right decisions in terms of positioning. Keep in mind this is there you go, so that's only 6 hits. If I had put the remaining 2 torpedoes, there would not be a lot left on that Bayern. And so yes, it's a bot CV on the enemy team, so yeah, I don't mind being engaged by planes. You do have an AA skill, but honestly you're not going to shoot down a lot of things with it. I think it's just there for moral comfort, to be honest. So you can actually have the impression that you're doing anything about it. But yeah, if Langley decides to focus you, you will be just fine, don't worry about that. This is tier 5 again. But anyway, back at the game, we are going to... The Bayern is looking away from us, so we are going to switch our attention back to it. Instead of running away, we're going to be using the guns. The guns are not dealing a lot of damage, and you guessed it, the name of the game with that ship, a bit like the other ships of the line, are the torpedoes, and it's actually a perfect platform to learn how to use them and to practice about using them, so that's why I think it's actually a very good ship. Because it really exemplifies the playstyle of the Japanese cruiser line, and it's at a tier where it's relatively safe to be making mistakes, honestly. It's with your concealment that you have and the fact that you can hardly be punished by CVs, it's a fairly safe ship to play as well. So yes, the torpedo shooting angles are bad, but that's the case for the rest of the line, and essentially when you've got those double quad launchers that can launch either from the left or from the right, so it's not like the other cruisers when you get like 8 torpedoes on the left and on top of that 8 torpedoes of the line. There you can simply pre-aim your torpedo tubes and fire from any side of the ship. And you can also do, well, I think you guessed it. Now you probably guessed what I'm going to do to that remaining New York. I'm going to try to close the distance. That guy has no idea what's coming for him. And I'm going to position myself behind that island to help me remain hidden as long as I can, or actually close the distance as safely as I can with that guy. Not that I need to fear a lot for my hit points, because it's absolutely not looking at me. Again, this is tier 5 people who will be having that kind of reaction, so yeah, it's a perfect seal clubbing ship, absolutely toxic. And there we go, we are only 5 kilometers away from that New York. We are going to be finishing it in style. I'm just going to run parallel to him, line up the 8 torpedo tubes and unleash the Death Star, and that will be the end of the game. So there you go, the Yahagi, obviously a very toxic ship, an excellent playbook for the Japanese cruiser line. How can you actually get your hands on that thing? Well, unsurprisingly, it hasn't been for sale a lot, to be honest. I think I've seen it once, but I did remember seeing it in the shipyard for a couple of days 2 years ago, and I was actually I started working on that review before they put it in the Blitz shop this week. Next to the Black Dallas, the Black Congo, the Black Bayern, and I think a couple of other premiums. Obviously, if there is one ship you need to go for, it's this one. It's absolutely ridiculous. So go ahead, get the Yahagi and just ruin tier 5 for everyone for a couple of weeks until you get tired of it. And sure enough, we take a look at the results, and we did 20,000 damage with the main guns and 52,000 with the torpedoes. Absolutely fine, not broken at all, nothing to see here. That was DFA. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.